This man is getting bigger fast. Everyone who saw this scene was scared and ran out. But the man's legs were not good. He was held by the man with a large belly. He was squeezed into the man's belly button. People on the street also began to run away. It turned out that the man had turned into a big giant. The giant walked towards a residential building. He looked at the beautiful woman inside and stuck his tongue out. Then he put his big hand inside. But he didn't go for the woman. Instead, he spotted the fried chicken on the table. He carefully took off a thigh and filled the gap between his teeth with it. But the thigh was a little stale. The man's stomach rumbled, and then a big fart came out. It was like a force 8 gale. 300 pounds of grandmother were blown up. At that moment, a homeless man struck a match. The fart was detonated. The man suddenly woke up. So it was a nightmare. The man's name is David, with a weight of 500 pounds. He is a biology professor in the school. When the school suddenly went into chaos, all the hamsters in the research lab came out. Some of the hamsters got into the blower. The sandwiches instantly turned into hamster sandwiches. But David clearly remembered that the door was locked last night. He also restored the scene. It turned out that his big buttocks hit the switch. The school was in such a state. David was naturally called by the principal to talk to him. He couldn't even sit in the chair with his fat body. The principal gave David a reprimand. David found a hamster had climbed on the light and spiked the principal's coffee. David tried to warn, but was interrupted by the principal and kicked out of the office. The principal tasted the coffee. The taste is really some delicious. What is it like to have a super fat teacher in class? He was writing equations on the top. The words underneath were all erased by his belly, facing the ridicule of the students. He had gotten used to it. There's nothing a chocolate bar can fix. David was picking up trash from the floor. Someone called out to him. David's eyes widened. It turned out to be a beautiful legs in black silk appeared in front of him. This person's name is Anna. She was a teacher who had just arrived here, and she was very interested in David's research. David also fell in love with her at first sight and was determined to lose weight. That night he ate only 7 bowls of rice. Afterwards, David went to see Anna. He asked her if she wanted to go out with him. To his surprise, Anna really said yes. This also confirmed his determination to lose weight. He signed up to do aerobics, but trampoline training does not seem to suit him, and boxing training. This is day 1 of this man's acupuncture treatment. This is day 2, and this is day 3. Still no effect. The man began to try to lift weights, but none of the equipment could restrain him. The man began to wonder, is it because he has a fat body? It was the day of his date with his goddess. At this point, the stage performed a stand-up comedy. His style is to use the audience on stage to make up jokes. It so happened that David and his goddess were sitting in the first row. That person will definitely not let him go. With David's body, he told several jokes in a row. This made David a bit embarrassed. The flaws are infinitely magnified. Anyone would not be able to stand it, but David put up with it. When he got home, he started to overeat again, because the only way to ease his mood was to eat. David fell asleep while watching TV shows. In his dreams, he became fatter and fatter. He instantly became a giant. The stand-up comedian was still laughing at him. David suddenly woke up. In a fit of rage, he ran to the lab. He took the potion he used on the hamster. He used it on himself, but David suddenly collapsed to the ground. After a while it really worked. A slender hand came out. David had really lost weight. A look in the mirror also gave him a shock to himself. After David became thinner, he was really more handsome. David was so excited that he ran out of the lab. He bought a bunch of tights that he had never worn in his life. After returning to the lab, Anna came to see him. He did not recognize the thin man, but he didn't tell the truth. Instead, he says he's David's friend Jack. David had just put his hand on Anna's shoulder. The next second, his fingers suddenly became bigger. It seems that the drug has run its course. David hurriedly kicked Anna out of the lab. He also asked her to go to a talk show tonight. That night David rented a luxury sports car. Adrift, the car parked in front of the restaurant. While they were eating, Sam, the actor who had humiliated David, appeared. He had turned into Jack and wanted to take revenge. On stage, he and Sam had a fight. He began to tell jokes with Sam's teeth. His jokes were much funnier than Sam's. Sam became furious and wanted to fight, but he was easily subdued by David. He also sang a song. Then he threw Sam into the piano. David returned to his seat and was chatting with Anna with great affection, but his lips fell out. David rushed to escape the scene, only to be blocked by the lab students. "Look man, I'm sorry, perhaps you need the money more."
Look, man, I'm sorry. Perhaps you need the money more.
The man's thighs began to thicken. The big foot went straight to the gas pedal. The car instantly rushed out. As he got a little bigger, the car tires were directly crushed. The car went out of control and came to a stop only when it reached the roadside. On this huge body can only get off by removing the car. The next day he told the truth to his students. The students warned him to be careful of the side effects, but after he met the goddess Anna, he couldn't resist drinking the potion again. But every time he became thin, he seemed to be a different person. It was like a split personality. The students tried to stop him from getting out, but he was locked in a warehouse. David was now close to insanity. He set up a romantic scene at Anna's house. He asks her to a fancy restaurant for dinner. Anna is happy to go, but something is not right with David now. He's not just crazy, he's also a womanizer. He sat directly in front of 3 beautiful women. When he found Anna again, he got slapped straight in the face. Anna left in anger, but David didn't care at all, because he still had 3 beautiful women. Crazy David got a bunch of guys to bounce around the house. The next day Anna came to see David. She saw the 3 women. Unaware of this, Anna thought David was the same kind of scum as Jack. At night David saw the video Jack had left for him, told him to fill up more potions. He told him to give up his body to Jack in a hurry. It turns out that the side effects of the potion not only split his personality, it also made him lose his memory of being thin. To keep things from getting worse, David poured out all the potion. He decided to rely on self-discipline to lose weight. Then he took a sip of his diet shake, but it tasted a little wrong. Come here full of weight loss potion. David became Jack again. He had expected David would dump the potion, so the potion deliberately changed the package. And he also calculated, just 2 hours apart, drinking 500 milliliters of the potion in 2 parts, he could become thin forever. Then he knocked out the student with a punch. David arrived at the school party. He walked onto the stage with excitement. He had to drink the potion in front of the crowd. Now the 2 hours were up. He suddenly got fat and scared the people on stage. He drank a little bit more of the potion and lost weight straight back. Now he just needs to drink the whole bottle, and he could take possession of David's body forever. At that moment the student suddenly appeared and gave David a punch. Just as he was about to fight back, his fist suddenly became bigger. He couldn't get it out. Then he grabbed his own neck. It turned out that David was fighting with him for control of his body. The 2 personalities used one body to talk to each other. They also started to fight. A slap on the left and a slap on the right. The time for the drug was almost up. In the end, David took back the body. Anna was stunned. David explained everything to the crowd. Finally, he walked out of the meeting without a trace. Anna, who knew the truth, came after him and forgave him. The 2 finally came together. This is the end of the film. If you like this video, like and comment. See you next time.